All right, switching gears. Not switching gears. We only got 2. Anybody seen the Ant-Man
We
trailer?
got 4.
Do we?
Ooh.
We have more?
We got more left.
We're gonna do that off the podcast.
More left.
Ant-Man trailer. My friends, have you seen it?
Yeah,
I
we
think
did that.
Yes.
We all
What
did
did you
that.
think?
I'm interested now.
I think everybody here is a big fan of Marvel. You probably, I don't know, lean more towards DC. I don't know. No?
Maybe.
No, I just been absolutely in love with everything Marvel's done thus far.
It's got a raging heart on
With the
for
exception,
Batman, though.
with the exception of Iron Man 3, but everything else I absolutely love. That's a mulligan for them, Iron Man 3. But everything else has been just incredible, and I love it.
You know, I watched, speaking of incredible, I watched The Incredible Hulk again the other night.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad.
It's really not.
It's,
It's really
it's actually
good.
pretty good.
Did you like the base cannons that they hit him with?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I always looked at it as like the lower tier Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Like if you had to put them in a list, not to say it was bad, but it was probably the worst one.
It's the forgotten movie.
Right, but it's not that bad. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but the problem is
Yeah.
a lot of people still had that bad taste in their mouth from the Ang Lee Hulk movie, which
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
out only, I believe, 6 years before that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that suffered for Batman Begins, because about 7.5 years before that was Batman and Robin, which was just a
Right.
disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Superman Returns.
Superman Returns, but not so much to the degree for Incredible Hulk and Batman
Right.
Begins. Because those two, in my opinion, are really good to great. Whereas Superman Returns is just like a love letter to the Richard Donner movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Regardless, Ant-Man trailer. What did you guys think?
Wasn't interested before. Now I am.
Yeah. I mean, like, I always had hope in it, specifically when it was under Edgar Wright.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I was really interested when it was Paul Rudd and Edgar Wright.
Right. I was really looking forward to that, but apparently, from what they said, it was because he wanted to make an Edgar Wright movie.
I wanted to see an Edgar Wright Marvel movie.
But it had to fit within the Marvel Universe, so they couldn't do that, apparently.
And I think that's also kind of what happened, just to go back on it, like with Iron Man 3, because that feels very much like a Shane Black movie.
Right.
As,
Right.
as
Yeah, yeah,
opposed to just a Marvel movie within the confines of the universe.
Absolutely.
Maybe they learned from that. Maybe that's exactly why
Maybe.
they just didn't like the direction he was going in. Thought it was
Right.
just way too director oriented. Mm-hmm. Still though, Edgar Wright movies
know.
are awesome.
No, yeah, and that's disappointing. And it was,
Yeah.
that's been in development since we graduated high school in 2006. So it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
there's always the various stories of it taking too long, or he wasn't ready, or Marvel wasn't ready, or Marvel gave him more time, and so on and so on. But
Right.
they've got a schedule they got to keep, and they've done an incredible job of keeping up with it and
Yeah.
keeping up with quality.
Right.
And for whatever reason, whether it be creative issues or timing issues, things just didn't work out with Edgar Wright. And you know what? I'm not going to be upset at Marvel or at Edgar. It's just something that didn't get to work out. And maybe down the road something might get to work out.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But for the
True
time
dat,
being,
true dat.
with what we've got here, I'm cautiously optimistic, because
Yeah.
Marvel's really yet to let me down with any new characters. For Christ's sake, the biggest movie of the summer was a talking raccoon in a tree that says a total of 5 words in the entire movie,
Yeah.
including his different lines in the ending. So
Spoilers.
sorry, in case you somehow haven't seen this movie.
Yeah.
To me, they put so much faith into what they do, and they put people in the right spots to make it work.
Right.
That fanhood, that pride shows. Like, that's why, in my opinion, Captain America: Winter Soldier is incrable, because
yeah,
Winter
they
Soldier.
put the fans.
On your left.
No, man, come on. That was my Falcon impersonation there.
That was your general black guy impersonation.
So anyway, Winter Soldier's just incredible, and these guys only did like Community episodes and Arrested Development episodes
Right.
before that.
Yeah.
And I listened to the commentary, director's commentary, and they're fans, they're movie fans and they're comic fans, and that shows.
That's why it works.
And it works.
Yeah.
Right. Because they care.
They care. They know it works. They know how to build to something later down the road, and it just leaves you salivating for more.
Yeah.
Same goes for Guardians.
All right, I have one more question for you guys. What type of, tonally, what type of film do you think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to be more of the original Iron Man, where it's like, there are some parts played for laughs, but it's mostly a seriously told story? Or is it going to be more of like a Guardians campy fun movie?
They have to really figure out how to make people invested in a character that has that just shrinks.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously he does more than that, but bare bones, they're going to have to figure out a way to make people invested in it more than just Paul Rudd and his charming personality.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also, I think that's the little that we did get to see of humor in the trailer, like just those small moments of Paul Rudd going, "Huh?" and is
Yeah.
it too late to change the name? Because that's the thing Marvel's done incredibly well is they don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
They're dealing with these ridiculous concepts and these real world settings, and while it is very fantastical and sci-fi-esque at times, but they treat it genuine and it comes off as fun.
Yeah.
Like there's no point where if you look back at Guardians, there's no point where it feels overly intense and grim, and they're having fun. I'm sure they had a blast making it, and it looks like watching it you have a blast because you feel like you're along the ride.
Right. That's really it. It's just the fact that having fun, watching
Yeah.
it, knowing that they had fun, knowing that
Right.
they enjoyed
You
doing
can tell.
what
And
they were
that's
doing.
important
You can
is not taking themselves too serious because again, like as you guys obviously know, like I'm a huge Batman fan and I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and that deserves that tone, that dark serious
Right,
tone.
right.
But like Man of Steel doesn't need to be that serious. Like it
Right.
could have been
No.
more lighthearted.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't need to be so overly saturated and depressing.
Right.
And
Right.
he's supposed to be like that guiding light of hope. But the problem is, like, I feel like Warner Brothers and DC think, well, this dark tone worked for Batman.
Right.
You got to do it
Clearly.
for everybody.
Yeah, clearly.
And Marvel knows that you don't need to do that. Like, sure, like there's some intense dark moments at times in various movies, but there's this fun tone at times, and you're along for the ride. And some really intense, fantastical, terrible things could be happening, but at the end of the day, they make a way to make it work out and make it like okay and make
Right.
it have fun.
I still think Avengers is the perfect example of that.
Yeah,
Because it's
absolutely.
like there are these very serious dark moments, but it's always self-aware.
Yeah, like at the culmination of Avengers, like there's some destruction to the city, but you feel this sense of victory, and like from looking from the damage, it's not as severe as like a Man of Steel, where when that movie ended, I felt hopeless. That was like 9/11 times 1,000. Like,
Yeah.
that was just depressing.
Right.
There was no sense of like, yeah, they did it. He did it. Like,
Superman's a beacon of hope.
no, yeah, it
No.
was frightening as fuck.
He's
Like,
killed all of our families.
Yeah, so like again, and again at the ending of Avengers, a lot of damage was done. Nowhere, nothing major,
Right.
but it was intense, especially for a full scale alien invasion. But at the same time, they gave you that sense of optimism and hope. And what's funny is I rewatched Avengers recently, and I find myself tearing up when Stark grabs that missile and he's like trying to get into the black hole, into
Yeah.
that hole, because it's like he's putting it all on the line to save everybody, and
Make the
otherwise
sacrifice.
they don't know. And that's a nice thing they alluded to in the movie too. So it's a really fun, great moment there, especially the recap after that when he gets back.
Yeah.
And that's why I Marvel
Still haven't had any shawarma, by the way.
Yeah.
me neither. It's been 2+ years now. I've got to at this
Gotta
point.
do it.
But I give Marvel the benefit of the doubt. Like, this trailer could have been boring as shit, which I don't think it is, but it could have been boring as hell. But you know what? They have to let me down, like, really. And, like, again, I didn't like Iron Man 3, but I'm not worried about that. Like, they've done such incredible stuff since then.
Right.
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how that turns out because it is a character that's lesser known, just like Guardians
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we'll see how it turns out, but I think we're all sort of hopefully cautiously optimistic about it.
Sure, yeah.
I'm excited about it. I really like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, we're all fans basically of the people that are working on that film. So, I mean, and again, we've said on this podcast before that we have no reason to doubt Marvel at this point, So,
Are any other big names cast in that besides Paul Rudd?
yeah, the original Ant-Man is
Hank Pym is being played by
what's his name?
Well, there's Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, that's right.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, he's the original Ant-Man.
And they wanted to shout, Basic Instinct! Trying to think of Michael Douglas.
So he's probably the biggest name, and then I
They
forgot
have the
where
guy-
that chick was from. The girl, I think, isn't she from Prometheus, or am I thinking about another girl?
No.
I'm thinking about another girl.
The only other actor I've noticed from the trailer I recognized was the guy from House of Cards.
Oh yeah,
I noticed him, which apparently he might be playing the villain.
yeah, I think so.
So,
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think those are two big enough names: Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the trailer and I thought it was really, like, I had no intention to go watch it because it's Ant-Man.
Yeah,
and I have no interest in it.
Full disclosure,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us have read an Ant-Man comic.
I'm a big comic guy, and honestly, I haven't.
Oh
But I know
my God.
he's a founding member of the Avengers, and I
Right.
know a lot. But
That was the biggest
still.
thing for me, is like I knew that fact,
Right.
and I was wondering how they were going to incorporate him into the cinematic universe, because I know he was a founding member. That was the only thing I knew about him, though, and
And
his shitty power.
the thing that I kind of think is neat, because like in the comics, I know
He grows
Ant-Man-
too, right?
Right, he
like
grows,
like
right?
as Giant Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he changes his names, which I think is why like that line at the end of the teaser was like a little bit of a like a
Allusion. To
allusion to that. Yeah.
Ooh, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. But the thing is, and I think it's neat, is like in the comics, Ultron is created because of Ant-Man.
Right.
And then now in the movie, it's going to be because of Stark, which is, I'm fine with that change. But apparently, from what I read, like in a synopsis, like Stark works on a defunct program, which makes me think that Michael Douglas's Hank Pym character in this franchise started it, couldn't finalize it, didn't have the technology at the time. And so it's a way to still allude to the comic history, but at the same time make their own history
Right.
in the movie.
Just like they did with Thor, if you remember. His alias was as the Doctor.
Donald Blake, yeah,
Exactly.
It was great, and those little things like that work really well. Those little Easter eggs that if you
Easter
get them,
eggs.
they're great. And if
Fanfic.
not, keep going.
I have a question.
Go
So you know about Andrew Garfield and him being let go from Amazing Spider-Man 3?
Well, did that happen today, or
It's
It didn't happen
It's
today.
not official, I don't think.
I don't
I
think
thought
it's
they let him
official.
go, or they were going to
It's
because
a rumor.
of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things haven't been working out apparently at Sony.
So-
Clearly.
well, Spider-Man movies have been a disaster for quite a few years. So
Right.
true.
Well,
I
my
like the
question
first Amazing Spider-Man.
was going to be
Sorry.
that in the next Captain America 3 is supposed to be the intro to the Marvel Civil War, exactly. How do you feel about that? Like, what do you think? What do you think Sony and Marvel can do to kind of make that work? Because I know Spider-Man is a intricate piece in
Yeah.
that storyline.
Oh, yeah.
well, I know the movie one likely won't follow this story one beat for beat, because let's be honest. Look at right now the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who there has a secret identity? Nobody. Everybody knows that Captain America is Steve Rogers is Captain America. Everybody knows that Tony Stark is Iron Man. Thor is just Thor. The Hulk. Everybody. There's a select few people in the government and in the community that know that Dr. Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk. So it's not really a big issue about secret identities. I think it's going to be more about, especially whatever happens in Ultron. I think a major disastrous things will happen, and the world's governments are going to want to hold those heroes responsible. Like they've got to answer to somebody for what happened. And they kind of teased that at the end of Avengers, in that epilogue shot of all those monitors with like a senator saying, they're responsible for all this. This was their fight. Where are they now? Like they already teased that.
Right.
Like they may have saved the day, but they're still kind of blaming them for what happened.
Right.
So I think we're going to get more of that.
That's interesting
in
you
Ultron.
said that, because I never thought to think about whose identity was known.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know
Right,
what?
yeah, that and the fact that he brings that up makes me think, like, I mean, after the main guys in the universe, like, who else is there to register as a hero?
Like, right now, like,
hero, you know what I'm saying?
Right now, the only ones, like, let's say Ant-Man is. We don't know yet, but let's say Ant-Man is. The only real ones are going to be like Ant-Man and now Daredevil in this new Netflix show.
Right.
So I seriously doubt the world's governments are going to be upset about Daredevil and Ant-Man. Like, I don't think they're really going to care about their identities.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, so there's gonna
Take the mask
gonna
off!
have to be some rewrites when it
Yeah,
comes to
so and
that.
that's fine. And again, I'm fine if I'm totally fine with them changing things as long as you're respectful to the material and you make it interesting.
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride.
And that's what they've been doing.
And they've done an
every
incredible job.
film.
And that's why I think the events of Ultron will kind of lead to that whole issue in Civil War. Stark, I think, is going to feel terrible and responsible for what happened, because technically he'll have created Ultron, and he's going to have this guilt for the first time that this was on me.
And he has that trauma from New York.
And he has a trauma from New York. And think about, like, in Iron Man
Still
2,
nursing that.
how he didn't give a shit. Like, no, they're my suits. I do what I want.
Right.
But now, for the first time, he's going to feel responsible because, who knows how many people will die because of what he did. His choice to
Right.
make this AI. And he'll immediately want to, like, you're right, I was wrong, I need to rectify this, and he'll fight. And then you look at where Cap has been in Winter Soldier. The people he's working for, S.H.I.E.L.D., ended up being infiltrated by Hydra damn near from the beginning.
Right.
So he already knows that you can't trust those type of higher, like, governments and like, agencies. So he would obviously be opposed to, like, that type of, like, registration or any type of regulation against heroes doing what they want to
Yeah.
do.
The most interesting angle of this storyline to me that I can see them implementing is old America that's represented by Captain America.
Yeah.
Like the chest thumping
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue World War II America, you know, the classic America, going heads up against this, like, the America that we currently live in of ultra security and homeland
High-tech.
security, high tech, you know, drones,
Metaphors.
yeah, exactly. And I think that matchup will make for a really interesting story. And I think that's the angle they're probably gonna go with it.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, I don't think the issue will be completely cleanly resolved in this movie. For the most part, it'll be, you know, they'll butt heads, they'll battle, but I'm sure there's another bigger threat out there that is going to be unnoticed because of their issues, and I think that's what's going to be exciting, is that not everything's neatly tied up in a bow in every movie. Like, they leave a little to
There's
build
always something.
the next, and I think that's even going to build towards, like, Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. I don't even think, like, Cap will be in Part 1.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be separated. The group's going to be segregated, and things get so bad. We got to get everyone, all your personal bullshit, any little animosities, check that shit at the door. We've got a huge threat here.
Pull
We
in the
need
X-Men.
Everybody. Call Fox. Get the X-Men over here. Like, no, like, seriously, like, it's going to be so bad that, you know what? No matter what issues they may or may not have had, we need to work this out right now, and we've got a bigger issue at hand than us.
Give us your character, Sony. Give us your character,
And
Fox.
you know what's the thing? Like, if like, let's say,
We've got a huge
if they get
problem
him
we gotta
back,
take care of.
if Marvel gets him back, awesome. That's great. And if they don't, that's fine too, because
They can work
they've
around
clearly shown Guardians of the Galaxy, they don't need those A+ heroes, because they can make A+ heroes of their own in just their movies.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
So all in all, pretty optimistic, just going off of
Faith.
Marvel's track record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt Ant-Man's going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. We're all going to watch it.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
When they announced their Phase 3 lineup, I'm just like, I'm so excited. Like, it was like, to me, Marvel movies is like waiting in line for a roller coaster. I am not worried. I am just excited. I cannot wait. And when I get in that seat, okay, it's finally happening, and it's awesome.
Marco's just scared.
I'm not scared.
Marvel's afraid of roller
Fuck
coasters.
y'all. I'm not afraid of roller coasters.
He won't ride a roller coaster.
I don't like roller coasters. There's a difference between being afraid of a roller coaster and not liking a roller coaster.
He's afraid of your analogy.
And I don't like roller coasters. They're not fun. They're not fun for me.
Anyway,
It happens.
Anyway.
It's all right.
wrapping it up.
Wrapping up. I guess just to kind of cap this baby right now. A couple days ago, this is way off subject, but it doesn't really matter.
Where are we going?
We're going
A much more somber note.
much
Yeah.
more somber note. Yes.
Bring it down, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to get into it with this. A couple days ago, Stuart Scott, legendary sports anchor, big name from SportsCenter, ESPN2. He was really huge on there. He passed away after a 7-year fight with cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was, he really put up a fight. I just wanted to say a couple things just because I was, like, Stuart Scott to me was sports. He was SportsCenter. He was ESPN. Like I didn't, he was the first guy who I knew his name. I didn't fucking care about any of the other dudes. It was all about Stuart Scott. He was like the cool fucking guy. He spoke the slang that we spoke. he spoke about sports the way that we spoke about sports. So, I mean, he was, when I was growing up, like, it was just him. Like, that was I didn't care about anybody else. It was all Stuart Scott. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that he had cancer, it was 2007 when he got diagnosed with cancer. It was a big deal because it was like a rare form of cancer. He probably wasn't supposed to live that long. He fought it for 7 years. He has this really, really heartfelt speech at the ESPYs last year. Can't even watch it. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say a couple things. He was somebody that I know, that I've seen online and just everywhere. Somebody that people really admired before the cancer fight. They just admired him for being that kind of person who was able to interview any athlete in any sport and make it sound natural, make it sound real, and make people my age give a shit about people that we probably wouldn't have given a shit about.
Yeah.
And they admired him for that. And then to admire the guy for fighting the cancer the way that he did, it's pretty admirable. So, rest in peace,
Hats
Stuart
off.
Scott. And that's about it. This has been the One Baron Podcast. I want to thank Brian Andino for dropping in.
Where can they find you, Brian?
You could find me on Facebook. Just search my name, Brian Andino, with a Y. You could find me on Instagram.
Everybody on
Is that Andy?
Last name's Andino. You can find me on Instagram. I believe it's like bandino88. I don't know. I'm sorry.
We'll link to it.
Yeah, we'll put a link. Cool. I got like 2 more followers.
There you go.
Boom.
Spam or something.
Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast at One Baron, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that other jazz.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Of course,
it's been a
thank you for
pleasure.
being on. My name is Marco Dupa, Drunk Dave Romero, Adam Obesius Rodriguez,
Yay.
Brian Andino. Thank you guys for
Cool as the
listening.
other
Have a
side of the
beautiful
prison.
night. God damn it.
Ruining our outros!
Booyah.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
Bye now.
Oh, it said rise up.